If you ask someone what Mexican cartels are, they'll probably say violent criminals and stop there, which is fair, but it also skips the part where they're basically businesses that chose the worst possible industry and then removed every safety rule. Cartels are not random chaos. They don't wake up and decide to be evil that day. They organize, plan, and manage things, which is uncomfortable because planning implies someone made a spreadsheet and thought this was reasonable. At the most basic level, cartels move illegal products from one place to another. That's it. Everything else exists to make sure that process doesn't get interrupted. They control routes, pay people, hide shipments, and solve problems when something goes wrong. Those problems can be police, rival groups, or someone inside the organization getting ideas above their pay grade. Cartels also collect taxes, not because they want to, but because if you control an area, you control what moves through it. If someone wants to operate there, they pay. If they don't, they leave, or worse. A lot of their time isn't spent on violence, but on logistics. Vehicles, storage, timing, communication. Violence only shows up when logistics fail. Because violence is expensive, it draws attention and it creates paperwork which nobody enjoys. It only shows up when someone breaks the rules. Most days are actually very boring. People move things, check phones, wait for calls, and pretend this is a normal job. When something goes wrong, this stops being a moral issue and becomes a maintenance problem. And no, it's not emotional. It's handled calmly, quickly, and with the goal of making sure this exact problem never happens again. Once that's done, things go right back to normal, which is the unsettling part. Because violence isn't used out of anger. It's used like a reset button, not to send a message, but to keep the process moving. Violence isn't the business. It's just what happens when the business needs reminding that it exists. Territory matters because that's where the money moves. Roads, ports, border crossings, those aren't background details. They're the entire business. If you control the path, you control what passes through it. And once something passes through it, you can charge for it. That's why most cartel conflicts aren't personal. They're not about pride or revenge. They're arguments over who gets to collect tolls on illegal highways. And whoever controls those routes eventually ends up at the top. Cartel leaders are often shown as masterminds or legends. In reality, most of them are just people who didn't die early. That's the main qualification. They're also the ones who see most of the money. Large cuts, offshore accounts, properties they don't live in. Meanwhile, the people doing the actual work make very little. Drivers, lookouts, low-level enforcers. Most are paid just enough to keep showing up. Enough to take the risk, not enough to ever leave. They don't spend their days making grand plans. They spend them trying not to get arrested, betrayed, or quietly replaced by someone younger and more desperate. It's not power, it's constant pressure. But cartels don't rise in a vacuum. They grow where something else stops working. When police don't show up, courts don't function, and basic services disappear, another system fills the space. That system isn't better, it's just present. And when people need order, money, or protection right now, presence matters more than quality. From a distance, that system gets turned into stories, songs, shows, cool visuals. Up close, it looks very different. It's fear, loss, and normal life slowly being worn down. Nothing about it is exciting when you actually live there, and none of it is likely to stop on its own. Cartels exist because demand exists. As long as people keep buying, someone will keep selling. Taking one group down usually doesn't fix the problem. It just clears space for the next one. It's not a single issue. It's a loop, which leads to the uncomfortable reality. Mexican cartels aren't mysterious. They're not supervillains. They're what happens when money, demand, and weak systems line up in the worst way possible. Simple in concept, devastating in practice.